Hi everyone, just want to give a quick recap for CC Cycle 2, Week 4. For geography, we had the European rivers. We spent a little bit more time than we normally do, mainly because of the pronunciations. I had to actually listen a couple of times myself just to make sure I had those, um, you know, had those ready to when I was going to give them to class yesterday. Um, and also the rivers are a little bit harder to see on the map as opposed to other locations. So that was probably a little more challenging than previous weeks from a geography perspective. But everything else in the new grammar time was pretty straightforward. Uh, the song for history wasn't probably at the top of everyone's list, but we were able to get through it. We continued with the multiplication tables. We're up to the sevens and eights. I know it's always a challenge going through those several times. So we're halfway there as far as the tables go, over halfway. So that's good. For science, we had two experiments. We had On the Move, and we had Speedy, the names of both of the experiments. For On the Move, we just had a kind of a paper plate, more of a plastic plate, and we had a marble, and we had construction paper and sandpaper. So we just put the marble in the plastic plate and would kind of spin it, kind of flick it, and have it spin around the plate. And the objective was to observe how fast the marble would travel, whether it was when it was in there with just the plate, when we had a construction paper or sandpaper, how that impacted the speed of the marble. So what we observed was when the marble was just in there with the plastic plate, it actually traveled faster because there was no friction that would slow it down. So friction was one of the main terms that we talked about with that experiment. And then with Speedy, we had a washer tied to a long string, and we were just spinning it. So we had the string at full length, and was spinning like this. We noticed that it would take, it was slower going around its path or orbit, as opposed to when we would pull in and just use a shorter amount of the string and spin like this. We noticed that the washer would travel at a faster speed. And with both of these experiments, we were really looking at how the planets move in their orbit with the sun. Obviously, planets like Mercury that are closer to the sun, their orbit is faster and they can travel around the sun. Mercury goes around the sun in 88 days, as opposed to Neptune, which is way out there. Its path around the sun is much further. It actually takes 164 years. So we discussed that, and in space, it is more of a frictionless environment. So that's how the planets are able to move in the path they do at the speed that they do, and their distance from the sun also impacts the amount of gravity pull on the planet as well. So that's also what impacts the speed as it moves through its orbit around the sun. So that was science. Fine arts, we did abstract art, which is always a fun type of time because we really are just, we don't have like a set drawing that we are supposed to try to copy or emulate. It's just really just taking the elements of shape and just drawing based on an experience or a feeling. I did give some examples for abstract doodling, so they could write like a name or their name and then put abstract art in the midst of it. So we did that. And of note, I guess the one thing that I would ask us to work on would be presentation time length. We did go over yesterday, we went a lot over, probably 10 to 15 minutes. So I got to be better at controlling the time frame for which each student presents. We want to keep it around 2 to 3 minutes. So I'll probably put up some sort of indicator letting them know when there's about a minute left so that they know that, hey, you're getting near presentation, it's time to come to your conclusion and get into the question time. So that's something I'll try to work on, so we can make sure we do the presentations in the allotted time starting next week. But other than that, we had a great time, and I look forward to week 5. Thanks.